Alrighty guys, and welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. And today we have the Titanium Ninja Tumbler from the Ninjago Day of the Departed season. Set number 70588, 342 pieces, retails for $29.99. And it is a Walmart exclusive, so you can only get it at Walmart or through LEGO Shop at Home. Not in any other stores, even the LEGO store after they, kind of changed the way they do retail exclusive sets. I think it was just for, starting in this summer, so this was, one of the first Ninjago cases. It's one of the first that I've run into. The first little build is this little Nindroid Jetpack here, and it is pretty simple. You can see the Nindroid gets a little stud shooter, so there are no weapons on the actual jetpack, and it is pretty small and, lightweight, but I like the angle, the spread angle of the swords on the back, little wings, and very thin wings, so it wouldn't provide a lot of lift, but obviously we've got the big thrusters there, which kind of fix that. He just has a bracket going over his back, and you just attach it to, I think it's supposed to be attached, it's tough to tell. I think it's probably supposed to be attached like that, but it could be half a stud higher up if you want this look. I'm going to go with the further down look as what they expect because it is a little bit sturdier. But this is a decent little thing. I like the black ice cream cones, neat piece to get, and, kind of nice to get some kind of vehicle for that. And you can kind of angle this handlebar piece back and forth. Not really meant to do that, but it is kind of nice to angle it as far forward as possible so the wings kind of have that little extra angle. But that's the only thing the Nindroids get in this set, so it's not, maybe it would have been nice, you just get two Nindroid figures and the which we'll take a look at the figures later, and that little jetpack. Pretty much all of the parts budget in this set goes towards the main build, which is usually a good thing, because usually that means that they put quite a bit of effort into it. Whether that's true in this case or not, remains to be seen. You'll hear my final thoughts in the end of the video. But it is a nice thing, this Titanium Ninja Tumbler. It feels nice. Feels like it's a nice size, nice bulkiness. And you can see on the bottom, it's kind of using some plates to build it out, so not as Technic-based as some Ninjago vehicles can be. There are these nice big wheels, which don't spin super well the way they're set up. You can see they kind of stop. It's lots of, if I were to push that, it would stop there. So it's not as rollable as some of the other vehicles, just taking from the same wave of sets. The rock rotor rolls quite a bit better, but that could also just be because of the way I built it, but I feel like it's a little bit harder to get it to spin really well than most vehicles. But on the sides, it's got these panels, which are actually all angled on really nicely. These are all different little angled panels. These are angled from the top, this is angled up like that, and they all kind of work together. They fit really well in and give it a nice shape. You can see there's kind of some misalignment, but that's on purpose, to kind of make it like armor plating, and I think it works really well. And you got some compound curves here, which is pretty good. I think it looks nice. Just a good, build, fun to do as well, fun to put together. On the top we have these stud shooters, which they actually, ooh, nice landing. They actually shoot medium transparent blue, which is an uncommon color for studs, and that's nice to get. It looks good, looks appropriate. And on the back we just have a little bit of paneling there, and I'll show you what this is in a minute, but we do have some blades sticking out the back. And this here is part of the most prominent action feature, which has to do with these panels on the sides. which first just take a look at that sticker. Nice detail on there. And we'll take a look at the cockpit section afterwards too. But if you push on that, these side panels both come out, and you can either pull this back in, which doesn't work as well and is not what I would recommend you do, or you can just push that like that. That's a bit easier and it works a little bit better, but you can also pull that back in. It's just, it doesn't feel as good pulling that back in. It just feels like it wants you to do that, like, you know. And it is kind of, you know, it doesn't look great in this form, but this form here is so that you have these spring-loaded shooters. There's one on either side, and they're completely hidden away when you, you know, pull this back in. Like, there's the spring-loaded shooter, you can see it there, and then it shoots off. But if we put it back in reload, and then push this back in, you can't see that shot really at all. You can kind of see it from back here a bit, but from the front you definitely cannot see it whatsoever. And from the back it's still, you know, difficult to spot. I think that's a really nice integration, like the you know, silver rice hat used as hubcaps. But there is some good, you know, the good detailing for the cockpit, which we'll take a look at now. The inside is pretty simple. It does have kind of a seating area. It is interesting to see how this folds out towards the front. And you can see the front paneling is attached on there. There are some stickers on the sides of this. That one says Zane. These are transparent stickers, so that they show up on the windshield glass. And then Zane's little symbol. This here is nice. The next one, nice shield with Zane's symbol on there. And this here has like his heart and then some other stuff in the back. But looks good like that. You can see him through there. And that screen in front of him actually has a sticker on it. It's very difficult to see from any angle without opening the cockpit, but it has Pixel on it, which is really nice. Nice sticker, really like that. And it got some writing on there and stuff. But that is pretty cool. And you can also remove these back sections, which we'll take a look at separately. But you have this, and then you have that, which, you know, has a sticker on there. And then in the back, this is what you can see there. These here, I'm not exactly sure what it's for. Maybe it's to keep this from moving back and forth. And that just takes these two bars, which I was trying to put it in backwards, so just ignore that. But maybe it's to keep those from moving back and forth. Maybe it's to stop these from angling in any further. That's probably what it is, because you can take this out while the glider is still on. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I think I've taken a journey of self-discovery and figured out the answer to my question. But, you know, interesting little removable features. It doesn't look that good with them removed, so obviously if you want it just for display, you're going to keep it like this. But overall, I think that it is a good-looking vehicle. Let's take a look at those little side things, or detachable parts. Alright, so this first section on the back is intended to be a glider, and you would just pull it off of the back like that. You know, you kind of can leave the wings at kind of the angle that they are there. That looks pretty good, and, you know, works pretty well as a little glider. Zane just holds onto the handlebars there, and, you know, he would swoosh around like that. And it looks decent from the top angle. Kind of a weird little thing, but I think it works. The bottom isn't that great looking, but it's not bad. And you can angle the wings like that, so that it's kind of like a little, looks a little bit, you know, faster, maybe. And then you could kind of like go like that to just glide. So, interesting. Not the greatest, but not bad. And you can also pose it like that if you want. Not sure why you would want to, but it looks alright for what it is. And I mean, they were gonna basically angle these pieces in this method anyway, so making it detachable isn't really a negative, and I don't think it detracts from the build. So even if you are just going to leave it on there, you could just take off the handlebars and, you know, be done with it. I think it would work. It's not very good for, you know, display unless you have a bunch of clear bricks, but even then, it doesn't look too good. So not my favorite aspect of it, but it, you know, isn't really a bad thing either. It's just kind of something nice, extra, added playability with limited detracting from the appearance. So there is one other little removable section though, so let's take a look. Alright, so this last little section here is removed just, or, you know, I guess first we can put the glider back. It might be easier to take this out without the glider, but it doesn't really change anything because you can't put the glider back in place while this is removed. And you can see we got this little prison cell, so you can transport a prisoner. It does look like it might be difficult to get a character with, you know, big hair that goes far back. You know, it would be difficult to get one in there. Like, you definitely couldn't put someone with a rice hat in here, like a Stone Army warrior, but you can fit a Nindroid, especially these ones without helmets, or masks, I should say, because I guess they aren't really helmets. But it fits pretty well. He just fits his feet in between there, so no stud connection, which I think works pretty well. These studs on the side are a little weird. Maybe they could be, you could attach some transparent, clear, like round tiles to simulate some buttons. Maybe it would have been nice if they included a couple of those. You can see we have some electronic details, and maybe this is, you know, frozen because it does look like there's some ice around there, so maybe he froze the prisoner in this capsule. You can see a little minifigure symbol up there. And overall, I think it looks pretty good. I maybe wish that these pieces were white instead of black, but I think it works alright. Works out, you know, nicely. And I think this is a good use of that space in the back. Detachable stuff. I think that works well. So, the only thing that we haven't taken a look at yet is the figures. So let's do that. Alright, so here is figure number 1, and this is Day of the Departed Zane, without his mask, without his, you know, Day of the Departed silver and white mask, which it would have been really nice to get that, because that only appears in the really big Ultra Stealth Raider set, so that's the only way to get the full Day of the Departed Zane. But this one does have the torso and legs from there, and he also has this hairpiece, which is really awesome. I love this hairpiece in this color. Definitely been waiting for it since the Tournament of Elements season. But you do also get that in the Cryptarium set, so it's not as appealing here. He does have the normal Zane face with the, you know, the double-sided expression with the blue heads-up display kind of thing that prints on there. Before we push that back down and put the hair back on, though, let's take a look at the torso, which, you know, looks good. You can see he does have some reflective printing for the belt, and that right there, that symbol of his. His arms are both silver, and the back has this scabbard on there, just printed. And you can also see that's kind of like elements from the ZX design and the original design combined, which I think is nice. The legs, basically only silver printing on there, which is pretty cool. Silver and black, and then that one little spot right there. His accessories are shurikens. And you can also put the hair on like this with the heads-up display. I don't think that looks as good as just, you know, regular Zane face, but it is another option. And it, you know, it's whatever. Added options aren't bad, and it's nice to just get the same head a couple extra times, you know, because he does use this head over and over for a while. I mean, it would be nice to get, you know, different expressions for Zane. That's always going to be a wanted thing, but they're not really going to do that, so, you know. They actually do, but Never mind. Anyway, that's the Zane figure. Again, would have been nice to get the full Day of the Departed version with the mask and everything, but this is pretty cool too, especially with that. Alright, so here is the Nindroid, and we've also got his, pal who was arrested. And I suppose we can give him his weapon back, because, But these two figures are both the same with the exception of the weapons and this little jetpack. So I'm not going to end up bothering taking that off because the torso printing on the back is identical to that, which is nice looking. I believe it is an update. I will do a comparison between this and the old Nindroids. And the face print on the back is neat, as well as on the front. I believe that purple on the side, that is new and upgraded. The torso print is cool. It's very Nindroid-y, looks appropriate. And they don't have leg print. They do have one arm that is silver, both of them. And this guy has a stud shooter with, ammo loaded and an extra stud on the back. And this guy here has his Day of the Departed blade, which is actually Kozu's, but, they include it here because it's nice to get. It includes, I think that this is the same color that Jay had for his Technoblade, but this is a Technoblade piece, which you haven't seen in a while, so that's nice. And then the big old chain, except not the big old one, the small one, in this transparent yellowy color, and a gem, which is cool, and then just the handle. So I think that's a nice looking weapon, like if you put it over there so you can see the whole thing. I think it looks good, and it's nice to get, even if it's not, used by this guy in the show. Alright, so that is the Titanium Ninja Tumbler, all the figures. I think that this is actually a really solid $30 set. I think the vehicle is good. I mean, it feels like, it feels very bulky, so in that sense it feels like a $30 vehicle. It is a little bit on the smaller seeming side, but I think it, makes up for that because, with most Ninjago vehicles, you expect them to be or $30 vehicles are kind of like, usually they go with planes or something, but, this is different. We haven't gotten a Tumbler style vehicle from, the Ninjago series before. I think it looks really good. Definitely a nice looking piece. I like the cockpit section. These are actually some interesting windscreen pieces. But it has some good play features, which actually don't take anything away really from the model. You wouldn't even notice if, besides this back section. I think my only complaint is that this activator, the actuator, could have been shorter. But I think the way it is, it looks good, especially if you're displaying it from the front. And the Nindroids, nice to see them return. Really wish they would have had their masks, because I think that was such an awesome piece. But, they look pretty good, and they'll be nice to have. Still, I don't see why they didn't include the mask. I think that would have been a good additional feature. But overall, I think it's a good set. Definitely wish it wasn't retail exclusive because then it would be on sale a lot more often. But, as it is, I think it's a good thing to have. Goes nicely with the Rock Rotor, just because they are the vehicles from the same season, similar kind of style, I'd say. But overall, good thing to get. Definitely happy I was able to pick this up with a couple VIP points, to reduce the price just a bit. But it is cool, and I would recommend it, especially if you can find it on sale, but I don't know how easy that will be at this point in time. You probably have to wait until the summer when it gets clearanced out. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all later. Bye, guys.